guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Dudal Nature Lover. Another show after that show. As I told you guys that this is a show that will be coming to you every week. I'll be having a new guest and we will be talking about these things that do affect the guys who are single and above 30 years of age. And today I thank God I have a great friend of mine, a pastor, and let's hear from him. Welcome, Sanap.
Thank you.
You can introduce yourself.
Well, this is Moses Ngumy, pastor lead, pastor at the Royal House International, Mirema. And I'm honored to be here. I'm sure we're going to have a good time.
Being a young pastor, and by the way, you have not told us whether you are above 30 or below, or you are after 30 single or married. We need to understand this.
Well, the show being after 30, I'm actually after 30 single. Yes.
Wow, it's good to know that as the viewers continue, at least they will understand where we are coming from.
Yeah.
Now, being after 30 single, I believe that you deal mostly with young people, and you are connected to them even throughout the corona and everything that is happening.
It's always important to always go back. I take this as an opportunity for people to sit down and reflect on what the inborn gifts, that God has given them, and try to actually fund them or just try to activate them in such a time, because there are certain things that God has given you that no matter what happens, in your economy, they can still actually yield something for you. Yeah.
So this is the right time to concentrate more with the gifts. What you can do outside being employed.
Yes.
What you can do by yourself.
This is the right time actually to understand yourself. This is the right time actually to know what is it that I can do without, with less effort and enjoy doing it, because that is something that actually points you to what your gifts are, something that can actually earn you. Well, you love doing it, but it can still earn you in the cause of doing it. So I would advise that people don't just sit home and complain about the situation, but take time to say, you know what, let me just understand myself, let me see what I can do. If I don't have to go back to work again, how would I actually survive? And focus on getting acquainted with yourself and building that which comes out of that acquaintance with yourself. Yes.
Being a pastor, you are the lead pastor in your church. It's a big church that have mixed type of people. It has old, it has couples, it has singles, it has kids, teenagers, all types of people. How do the congregation takes you as a pastor, a young pastor who is not married, especially the old? Yeah.
I think we may say we are in an era where people care less about so many things, but again, we can't say we are totally off the woods. What really happens is you have a variety of people, and people are different based on where they came from or what they were used to. So I would say basically for my church, people actually are very okay. They really, well, you have some who are concerned about my status, but again, majority careless. I think people come to the church for the word and for fellowship. And if you're able to create an environment where that is present and the atmosphere is conducive for the fellowship, I think people get distracted from what has not happened or what should happen. Yes, and that's very important. Again, when you focus on being a pastor and you don't project issues that are not necessary to the congregation, and you're not a kind of a person who is into one drama or another, I think when you get people focused on the word, life moves on. Their lives, spiritual lives, their physical life are nurtured and they grow, while you also, find yourself in less pressure from people.
So if you feed them spiritually, that's all.
Yeah, it may not be all, because you always have people. Sometimes church is interesting because when you are in the moment and you're absorbed in the spiritual aspect of everything, when you come out, people fellowship and people talk about common things that they have with one another. And some of those things are the relationships we have and our goals and our aspirations. And people will always ask you about that aspect of yourself. So it doesn't mean that you're free, no matter what you feed them, how you feed them with the word.
So do the married couples comes to you for advice, or when like they have issues, or they are like, he's not yet married?
They actually do. And I think the grace of God is something very extraordinary. When God calls you, especially for a responsibility of being a pastor, what he does is that he gives you grace, and God knows the kind of people that is going to send your way. When you have a church and God sends couples and you're single, it's because he has entrusted that couple with you. He has entrusted them to the grace that he has given you, and he knows that there is a capacity within that grace to be able to meet their need. And so what really happens is this, that the word is all round, and the word is for both married, unmarried, young and old. And so when you concentrate on actually feeding them with the word is enough. So I try my best to minus the experiences, and because experiences are different from one couple to another.
Sure.
Experiences are different from one season to another. And so when you dwell so much on experience, you miss actually the point. So the most important thing is, do you understand the will of God for families? And can you point that couple to the word of God and help them be able to submit to that word and follow through? What you've done by doing that is that you have given them something that is solid, something that they can anchor their marriage on and see it succeed.
Okay, we like this is something that I have seen in many churches. You see a situation whereby, like, if the guy who maybe was a leader of praise and worship or was the youth leader, when he gets married, half of the girls that were in that church, they just step back. Reason being, they had hopes.
Yes.
They had hopes, and maybe that's the reason. They were there for the wrong reason, or they were there for the right reason.
Yeah.
But in the process, they were given hopes.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they are hurt when this person gets someone else. How do you balance that, especially as a pastor? Now, it's not a youth leader or a prison worship leader. You are the key person here. How do you balance the situation such that the moment you'll be getting married, half of the young girls that are in the prison worship or in the church, they won't just disappear being hurt?
Well, the secret is one word: focus. You have to be conscious of who you are. You have to be conscious of why those people came, or why God brought them there, whether young or old. And you have to be conscious also how you relate with them. It is so crucial, because every word you say can be interpreted or misinterpreted by someone to think that you're actually showing them that you love them and something like that.
Sure.
Again, so it's very crucial that you consider every word that comes out of your mouth. You consider every move you make. You consider every touch you do to someone, so that they don't misinterpret. Again, I think as a pastor, it's so important for you to be so cautious of basically what you send forth. You have to be a pastor to every person. You don't have to have favorites or favoritism towards certain people, because again, it gets misinterpreted. There are people who, you'll have people who are very good, especially a lady who is very good at coming and reporting something, and so they are trying to endear themselves to you. And if you're that kind of a pastor who is not wise and smart, you end up leaning towards that person, thinking that they care about you and they're watching your back. So what you do, what is important is that just be a pastor. And when time comes that God actually leads you to someone in the church, it's so important you make it very clear. Make it very open for everyone to know that this is your direction. You don't leave things hanging.
As we know, like in our churches, most members, they are ladies. Most of the churches, actually. It's like ladies is the big number we have in churches, more than men. And most of the time, these ladies, they are either singles or unmarried. So they are there, I know they are there.
Yeah.
So my question is it that you have not, you are not yet to choose among them, or the ones that are there? Ama, there is a specific person that you are waiting for? Or because I know they are there?
I would say, well, that's a very good question. I would say I'm focused on what God called me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean that I don't think about these things. That doesn't mean that I don't see people.
Yeah.
But again, being a pastor is a very straight kind of a path. That when you have to make a choice, you have to make a choice that again is broader than the path you're walking through. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot. It takes a very strong kind of a woman to accommodate a man of God.
Sure.
It takes a very strong kind of woman. It takes a very reasonable and spiritual kind of a person to accommodate a man of God. Two, again, well, not talking about a woman, talking about myself, is that everything has its time and its place.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it's part of it, but I think no matter what I see, I need to think about so many things. I need to think about, I need to pray about it, think about what the will of God is, and think about the impact that will have in the church. So again, this is where it comes to God really leading you, because God is more concerned about the church, his body, his people, than probably what I would want for myself. So I need to walk with God and to be able to know, what is the will of God in this situation. Well, would there be some? I mean, there are many. There are actually many. And yes, I have to make a choice. But if I haven't made a choice yet, it means maybe, even though there could be someone, maybe the time of choice or the time to make a choice hasn't really come forth. Yes.
Oh. Wow. The question is well answered. An indirect answer. So I would like you to talk to people who are over 30.
Yes.
And they feel like because things did not go as per their way.
Yeah.
I do say, like, for me, I my plan was by 25 I want to get married.
Yeah.
By 27 I have my first kid. By 29 my second kid. By 30 I'm done.
Yeah.
It's just to enjoy life with my husband and my family.
Yes.
But God's plans are different from ours. So I would like you to talk to people who are feeling like they have failed just because they are not yet where they had planned to me.
Yes.
To be.
I would say this. I would say you're still in God's plan. You're still in God's purpose. And again, I would say what is more important, should be more important to you, is to live out your purpose. That is so important. And I think when you're focused on your purpose, what happens is that even the person that comes into your life is someone that is purposeful, because they know why they are walking into your life. And again, what purpose does is purpose helps you eliminate what doesn't play into your purpose, or who doesn't play into your purpose. And so that's very crucial. So being over 30 and not married actually makes no difference if you're living your purpose. The question is, are you happy? Now, I would say something that wouldn't really augur well with many people. Actually, it's not a qualification to go to heaven. It's
Marriage.
not. Yes.
Oh, okay.
But you can live your life distressed, so disappointed when you are married and you don't have a purpose. And so when you have a purpose and you're married, it's a bonus. So the first thing that you need to focus on is just focus on your purpose. Ask, what am I here for? And focus on actually doing what you're here for. It will shock you. The right people will come to you because they see what you're doing, and they will be part of it, as opposed to someone just walking into your life because you're idle. When you come into terms with that, then your life becomes comfortable and you become happy, and you let God play into every aspect of your life, including that relationship.
Oh, that's amazing. I know there are things that do happen, like you find, especially when you are single like you find out that there are those women who are coming to you indirect. It's like they are saying, how come? So unioni niko hapa. They will start saying hi, be it Facebook, be it WhatsApp, be it in your phone. How do you deal with that?
Well, it's interesting that I had a conversation earlier with someone about that, and it happens a lot. Again, you cannot demonize someone for liking or loving you. But doesn't mean that not everybody that says they love you, they are meant to be with you. And that's why we talked about the issue of purpose. It's so crucial. However, to answer that question, this is what happens. You have to be kind. Even if you don't think that's the person, you have to engage them. Engage them, be kind, be nice enough to sustain a friendship even though you don't get into a relationship.
Sustaining a friendship is not like giving them hopes, false hopes.
Not at all, because you have stated yourself very clear.
Or you have made it clear.
Yeah, you've made it clear that you have a certain direction, or maybe you're not yet ready, or you don't want to. Sometimes it's nice even to tell the person, it's not about you, it's about me. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste your life.
So it is very important to make it clear.
It is so important to be clear so that you don't leave people confused. But when people hit on you, which is normal because I'm a guy, what do? I respond. My response doesn't mean that I love you too. My response doesn't mean that, you know what, my response is that I don't mind the friendship, but then I also have to make it clear that there are boundaries that cannot be crossed beyond that friendship. But I still maintain courtesy, kindness, gentleness, and and show them, what, I still care.
But especially for women, the moment you show them like you care, they interpret it differently.
Yes.
So it is very important they know. Unless someone is very clear that I want us to have something, don't have hopes.
Yeah. So there are different kinds of cares, and cares means, what does this care that you have translate to when it comes to actions? That also is so important, that yes, I care and I should care about every person, but then my relationship with every person is different. How do I care for you? There are certain actions that I will do, caring actions that will send wrong signals. So even though I care, my actions also I have to vet my actions. I have to be cautious about my actions, because again, they will send wrong signals.
I thank God that you came. I'm humbled that after talking to you, you came.
Thank you.
And I believe my viewers have learned a lot, as I have. They have been encouraged, and for sure God has used you in an amazing way, in a great way, to talk to people. Actually, you have talked to everybody. It is not about it is not of a that only, and I thank God for that.
Thank you.
I would like you to tell them about your church, where they can find you as we wind up.
Okay, so like I said, I'm the lead pastor, the Royal House International. We are at Mirema Drive, First Avenue, just next to by Faith Gardens, the Royal House International. And again, you can actually find us on our Facebook page, which is also the Royal House International, Mirema Roysambu. We can interact there. We always do Facebook Live. We share messages of hope. We share messages that will uplift your spirit. So if you can, just like the page and just be part of us.
Okay. Bye, guys. Thanks so much. If you have not subscribed, kindly do, because more videos are coming. More and great and better things are coming in this show. And may God bless you so much, even for taking time to watch and to subscribe and to view.